Today, I'd like to show you guys the open source component of Knowledgemarker, where we are introducing developers and connecting them to the coolest open source repositories that we have found while scraping GitHub for all the projects that exist on the platform. So let's jump into it and head over to the Create section of the Knowledgemarker platform. And what you guys are going to see here is a list of all the different projects on GitHub, the open source projects that Knowledgemarker has matched me with. So as a default, these projects that Knowledgemarker found is listed according to the number of matched skills, which you can see here on the panel on the right. And this has been one of my favorite things about Knowledgemarker, being introduced to the coolest technologies, up and coming technologies and projects on GitHub. And immediately, if you start reading around here, you'll see some stuff around this project called Transfuser, which is a multimodal fusion transformer for end-to-end autonomous driving. Now, I am a data scientist, so most of the stuff that's being suggested is in the field of data science. And just to show you guys, if I go to contribute here, then it will take me to the actual GitHub page. And I would be able to, of course, interact with the actual project, potentially start contributing, depending on the nature of the project and where they're at. So let's head back to the profile. This is quite the extensive list of different projects on GitHub that Knowledgemarker has matched me with. So if I head into the actual project, and this is called CAPTCHA Harvester. For those who don't know what this is the what Google does to check if you're not a robot, right? That quite irritating thing where you have to label all the traffic lights and cars. Now, this is this is a project that's dedicated to automating that process. And this is important for things like web scraping. Those CAPTCHA tasks that come up are quite an hindrance. And for this project, we have identified the different skills, and it's mostly in the domain of web development. And if I head in here, it's mostly backend stuff, and specifically they're using the Flask API. And if I look at some stuff that's not yet been categorized, so the only coding language that's been identified is indeed Python. And if we check out here, you can see the array of packages that have been utilized in this project. And if we were to just select this, you can see that this project has not had too many commits. It's been quite recent. So some insight can be gained here. What's also quite cool, if I head up to the top and we check out the contributors, then you can see who's actually contributed to this project. And of course, if I click on, for example, Noah Cardozo's expertise profile, the Knowledgemarker will take me to Noah Cardozo's actual expertise profile, where I can see the different public repositories that they have, as well as their different skills. And so they seem to have some data science, machine learning skills, and web development. What is interesting is that if I were to click in here, all right, we see mostly computer vision, numerical data analysis, and mostly OpenCV. And this makes sense, right, with this project, this CAPTCHA project, where they have to use some computer vision in OpenCV to facilitate that project. And on web development, front end, back end. But what's interesting is that if you want to know, like this doesn't give a great indication of comparative skill. But if I click on data science and machine learning, then we can see that this person has only made one commit in this field. Whereas if I click on web development, we can see that they've been interacting with web development for a much longer period of time. All right. And the same if we talk about back end versus front end. If we want to see back end stuff, there's not so much going on. If we look at front end components, a little bit more happening here. Yeah, so interesting. If we head back to the create page, just to finish off today's video, there are so many different things happening here. Deep learning for harmonizing music. I really enjoyed looking at the different projects that have been recommended. There's some really useful things, and even a video YouTube finder. I found this really cool. The purpose of this project is to enable users to find valuable YouTube videos of interest independent of YouTube's recommendation system, which seems really legit. And I think there's a lot of you out there that would find this quite useful and interesting. Yeah, so that's it for today's video. The open source component of Knowledgemarker, where we are bringing the open source world to you. We'll shortly be releasing a post where we have categorized the different projects that we found, and we'll be publishing it as a report. So be sure to check that out when it is released. Thank you so much for joining for today's video. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Ciao.